I've been looking forward to this.
Me too, it's nice to finally meet.
Sky never planned to lose control. Not in a crowded bar. Not with a stranger. And definitely not with a man whose presence felt like danger wrapped in confidence. The music had been loud that night. Louder than her thoughts. Louder than her doubts. Louder than the quiet voice telling her she deserved better than the life she was living. Fresh out of a draining relationship and drowning in work stress, she had gone out with one simple goal: forget everything. And then she saw him. He wasn't the loudest man in the room. He didn't need to be. Confidence clung to him effortlessly. The way he leaned against the bar, the way his eyes scanned the room like he owned it. Tall, composed, dressed in a suit that looked expensive even under dim lights. When their eyes met, something shifted. He didn't smile. He just looked certain. Sky should have looked away. She didn't. They didn't exchange names that night. Started with a conversation. Casual at first, then sharper, more intense. He challenged her, teased her, looked at her like he could see past every wall she had built. And she liked it. Too much. When his hand brushed hers, she didn't pull away. When he leaned closer, she didn't stop him. And when he whispered, "Come with me," she didn't hesitate. It wasn't like her. She was careful, controlled, logical. But with him, logic dissolved. The hotel room was quiet, almost too quiet, the world outside fading into nothing. For the first time that night, Sky felt the weight of what she was doing. She turned to him. "Maybe this is a bad idea." He stepped closer, his gaze steady. "Then tell me to leave." She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Because the truth was, she didn't want him to go. Not even a little. Morning came too quickly. Sky woke up alone. The sheets were cold, the space beside her empty, as if the night had never happened. No note, no name, nothing. She sat up slowly, wrapping the blanket around herself, her mind racing. What did I just do? She had let a stranger in. Let him see her, touch her, know her in ways no one else had in a long time. And he was gone. Just like that. She told herself it didn't matter. It was a mistake. A moment. Something to forget. And so she tried. Monday morning, reality came rushing back. Emails. Deadlines. Meetings. Sky adjusted her blazer, steadying herself as she stepped into the sleek glass building of Hartwell Enterprises, the company she had worked tirelessly to grow within. Today was important. A new CEO was being introduced. Rumors had been circulating for weeks. Someone powerful, someone young, someone ruthless. Sky didn't care. She just needed to focus. The conference room was full. Executives, managers, assistants, all waiting. Sky took her seat, opening her laptop, preparing for another long day. Then the door opened, and her world stopped. He walked in like he belonged there, because he did. The stranger, the man from the bar, the man from that night, now standing at the head of the table. "Good morning," he said, his voice calm, commanding. Sky's heart pounded. No, this couldn't be happening. He looked around the room, acknowledging each person briefly, before his gaze landed on her, and lingered, just for a second. But it was enough. "I'm Roman Hartwell," he continued, "your new CEO." The room filled with polite applause. Sky couldn't move. Roman. He had a name, and it changed everything. The meeting blurred. Words were spoken. Plans were outlined. Expectations were set. Sky heard none of it. All she could think about was that night, and the fact that her boss now knew exactly how she sounded when she whispered his name. After the meeting, she tried to leave quickly, but she didn't make it far. Sky! Her name on his lips sent a shiver down her spine. She turned slowly. He stood by the door, watching her, waiting. "We need to talk," he said. Her throat tightened. "About work." His eyes darkened slightly. Among other things, his office was larger than she expected. Glass walls, minimal design, everything sharp and controlled, just like him. The door clicked shut behind her. Silence filled the space. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "You didn't tell me who you were," she said finally. Roman tilted his head. You didn't ask. Her jaw tightened. That doesn't make it okay. No, he agreed. It doesn't. The honesty caught her off guard. You left, she said. I had to. That's not an excuse. It's not meant to be. He stepped closer. Not too close. Just enough. I didn't expect to see you again, he admitted. Neither did I. Does that make this easier? Sky let out a small, bitter laugh. Not even a little. There was tension between them. Thick, unavoidable, dangerous. This complicates things, she said. Yes. So what happens now? Roman studied her, his gaze unreadable. That depends on you. She frowned. On me. You're the one who has something to lose. The words hit harder than she expected. Because he was right. This was a mistake, she said quietly. Roman didn't argue, but he didn't agree either. Then we forget it, he said. We focus on work. We act like it never happened. Sky nodded. That's what we should do. But neither of them moved. Neither of them looked away. Because some things couldn't be forgotten. Days passed. Then weeks. They kept their distance. Professional. Controlled. Careful. Sky threw herself into her work, determined to prove that she could handle this. Handle him. And for the most part she did. Until the late nights started. It was always the same. Everyone else gone. The office quiet. Just the two of them. One night, she stayed later than usual. A report needed finishing. Deadlines didn't care about emotions. She didn't hear him come in. Not until his voice broke the silence. You're still here. She looked up. Roman stood in the doorway, his tie loosened, his sleeves rolled up. Less composed. More real. Work doesn't finish itself, she said. He stepped inside. Neither of them mentioned the past. But it hung there. Between them. You push yourself too hard, he said. She raised an eyebrow. And you don't. He smiled slightly. Fair point. Silence again. Different this time. Heavier. You ever think about that night? He asked suddenly. Her breath caught. She shouldn't answer. She knew she shouldn't. But she did. Yes. Roman took a step closer. So do I. Everything shifted. The careful distance. The professional walls. The fragile balance they had built. All of it cracked. This is a bad idea, she whispered. He nodded. I know. But neither of them moved away. Because some connections don't disappear, no matter how much you try. And as Sky stood there, caught between reason and desire, she realized something terrifying. This wasn't over. Not even close. And the deeper she fell, the harder it would be to escape. For a while it worked. They became exactly what they were supposed to be. CEO and employee. Nothing more. Meetings were structured. Conversations were precise. Emails replaced late-night discussions. Even their eye contact changed. Short, controlled, safe. But the thing about tension is that it doesn't disappear. It builds. It happened during a presentation. Sky stood at the front of the conference room, confidently explaining a new strategy she had spent weeks developing. The room was full, eyes on her, waiting. She was in control. Until she looked at him. Roman wasn't looking at the screen. He was looking at her. Not in a way that was inappropriate. Not in a way anyone else would notice. But she felt it. That same intensity. That same awareness. Like he was remembering something. Like he hadn't forgotten either. Her voice faltered just for a second. But he noticed. Of course he did. After the meeting, she gathered her things quickly, trying to escape before. Sky! Too late. She turned slowly. Yes, sir? The word sir tasted strange. Formal. Distant. Necessary. Roman's eyes darkened slightly, but his expression stayed composed. My office. The door closed behind her with a soft click. Silence stretched between them. You lost focus, he said, straight to the point. Sky folded her arms. It won't happen again. Roman studied her. You're better than that. I know. Another pause. Then, quieter. Is it me? The question caught her off guard. She hesitated. That was enough of an answer. This isn't sustainable, he said. Her chest tightened. Then what do you suggest? Roman stepped closer. Not enough to break the rules, but enough to challenge them. Either we move past it, he said, or we stop pretending it doesn't exist. Her heart pounded. And how exactly do we do that? His gaze didn't waver. I don't know yet. That was the problem. Neither of them did. It rained the night everything changed. The kind of rain that blurred the city, turned lights into streaks of gold and silver against the dark. Most people had left early, but Sky stayed. Of course she did. Work was her escape, her shield. She didn't notice how late it had gotten, didn't notice the silence of the office, didn't notice him, until she heard his voice. You're going to burn out. She looked up. Roman stood at the entrance, jacket off, hair slightly damp from the rain. He looked different, less like a CEO, more like the man from that night. I'm fine, she said. You're not. She sighed. Why do you care? The question slipped out before she could stop it. Roman didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked closer. Slow, measured. Because I remember you, he said quietly. Her breath hitched. You shouldn't. Ido. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. This is exactly what we said we wouldn't do, she whispered. I know. Then stop. Can you? She didn't answer, because she couldn't. The almost. He was close now. Too close. Close enough for her to feel the heat of him. Close enough for everything to blur. This is a mistake, she said again. Her voice wasn't as steady this time. Roman's gaze dropped briefly to her lips, then back to her eyes. Probably. Neither of them moved. Neither of them stepped back. And for one dangerous moment, it almost happened. A knock on the door shattered everything. They stepped apart instantly, reality crashing back in. Come in, Roman said, his voice controlled again. The spell was broken, but not gone. Never gone. The truth. The next day, Sky made a decision. She couldn't keep doing this. Couldn't keep pretending she was unaffected. Couldn't keep walking a line that got thinner every day. She walked into his office without knocking. Roman looked up, surprised. Sky! I need to say something. He nodded slowly. Go ahead. She took a breath. If we keep doing this, we're gonna cross a line we can't uncross. His expression didn't change, but his eyes softened. And that scares you, he said. Yes. Silence. Then, do you want to stop? The question hung between them. Heavy. Important. Terrifying. Sky swallowed. I don't know. That was the truth. And somehow, it was worse than either answer. Days later, she learned something that changed everything. Roman Hartwell wasn't just any CEO. He had built his reputation from nothing. No family money. No shortcuts. Just discipline. Control. Relentless ambition. And suddenly, it made sense. The way he held himself. The way he spoke. The way he always seemed contained. But she had seen the other side. The side no one else knew. The man who let go. The man who looked at her like she was the only thing in the room. And that made him dangerous. It happened during another late night. Of course it did. The office was quiet. Just the sound of rain against the windows. Again. Always the rain. You're still here, he said. She didn't look up. So are you. A pause. Then, dinner. She blinked. What? Have you eaten? No. Then come with me. She hesitated. This wasn't work. This wasn't professional. This was dangerous. But she stood anyway. Dinner changed things. It wasn't fancy. Just a quiet place. Low lights. No pressure. They talked. Really talked. About work. About life. About things that had nothing to do with that night. And for the first time, felt normal. Until it didn't. Because when he looked at her, really looked, nothing about it was normal. The choice. Outside the restaurant, the rain had stopped. The city was quiet. Still. This was a bad idea, she said softly. Roman nodded. Yeah. but neither of them moved to leave. Sky! Her name in his voice did something to her. Something she couldn't control. We need to decide, he said. Decide what? This. Her heart raced. And if we make the wrong choice? He stepped closer. Then we deal with the consequences. Simple. Direct. Terrifying. The edge. She was standing at the edge of something. Something that could change everything. Her career. Her life. Her heart. She knew the risks. Knew the consequences. Knew exactly how wrong this could go. But she also knew how it felt when he looked at her. And sometimes, that was enough to make people forget everything else. Sky took a slow breath. Then, she stepped closer. Not enough to close the distance, but enough to answer. And in that moment, everything changed. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos.